Good afternoon, Salome B here, and I want to talk about Jason Pollack and Leslie McSpadden, and that Leslie McSpadden is Michael Brown's mother. Jason Pollack and her collaborated to do a documentary on the cover-up of the Michael Brown case and the fraud that went on in the Michael Brown case and the lack of legal help that they got from the system, and how there were so many errors in the case and the cover-up that the media played a part in. We're going to go through some of the things in the Breakfast Club. Charlamagne had an interview with her on April 27th, and Jason Pollack had some interesting things to say about the Democrat Party and things like that. We're going to go through some of the clips. I'm going to play them for you, and then I'll come back with my commentary.
Did he just shoot us? Did he shoot? He shot you. And I grabbed him.
Right now, we're on the scene of a shooting in Ferguson. Tensions continue to build after a teenager was shot and killed in the street.
I heard them ain't not this time. Next thing I know, I'm thinking, start running. Hands up! Don't shoot!
Last night, again, in suburban St. Louis, the scene that photographers captured looked like a police state, following the shooting days ago of a young, unarmed black man who was supposed to head off to college this week.
You must disperse immediately. This is no longer a peaceful protest.
What are you saying, Chief? Did he know that he was a suspect in a case, or did he not know?
No, this film of this young man was released to tell the world he really wasn't that good. That is the oldest trick in the book. To defame someone, demoralize someone, it's been done to African Americans for decades. How do we put a black hat on you?
Yeah, they wanted him to look like that. They had to make him look aggressive. They had to make him look like the big bad guy, like they call it.
You can't perform the duties of a police officer and have racism in you.
Now, Evie expressed how difficult it is for us to even watch this story, how difficult it is to keep telling this story.
It's very difficult. It's difficult to relive this story every day, that Ferguson will not hold these people accountable for what they've done and what they continue to do. So it's very difficult.
I think you have to, though, and I know it's hard because there's so many facts and so many things that we didn't know. All we heard was, Mike Brown charged the police and the police shot, but just seeing the detail, and so many witnesses, and I still can't understand how they, I want to say, got off, because it was so many people that said, I seen this, I seen his hands up, the cop ran past me, the cop shot him. They kept, like, I
even
got
the cop not
two young
making a
boys,
statement right
made me
afterward
cry.
and never having even submitted a
Correct.
statement.
Yeah, and they didn't write a police report until they were forced to, and then they produced a document that was basically blank. It's a blank incident report. However, during the fake alleged robbery, and Mike didn't even rob the store, now we know that, but during that, the police report is a full page. So they were able to think of all these words to write for the fake robbery to frame that. But then when they kill him in the middle of the street, it's a blank page.
They kept changing the evidence too, right?
They did. They changed the evidence a lot. And I'm going to break some news right now. So you talk about the charge. What has been totally unreported is that there is physical evidence at the scene that Michael didn't charge. What Bob McCullough Mayonnaise is trying to do is use fake witness testimony that isn't really reliable to prove that. But the physical evidence defeats witness testimony in the court of law, I thought. So here it is. There's an audio tape of the shooting. It's 6.3 seconds from the first bullet to the last bullet. So we know that the whole event was 6.3 seconds. There's blood behind Michael's body on the street in the report. This is all like New York Times. You can look all this up. Right. 21 feet and 7 inches. Okay, so for the first time, we're going to do this math together. 21 feet and 7 inches. 6.3 seconds means he moved forward at 1 mile per hour, approximately. That's it. He didn't charge him. That's Darren's entire argument, that he had to kill him because he was being charged at. Michael didn't charge Darren. He moved approximately 1 mile an hour, and the physical evidence showed it, and it was completely covered up. And no one knew it until now.
Even if you're being charged at 21 feet away, that's a long way away. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't seem like you're not in immediate danger.
He wasn't standing. He was on his knees at that point. And he was falling forward with a broken clavicle bone. And he shot my son in the top of the head. And it came out his eye. He was never scared for his life, Darren Wilson. He ran after my son. He pursued him. He was shooting like a cowboy between 2 apartment buildings that hold over 100 people, including children.
Ride their bikes.
They didn't even count all the bullets. They did a very poor job of investigating.
But why? You know, because I'm watching it, and you know, there was 2 young men out there that day. Why your son over the other kid? You know, what was his, why?
Why my son at all? Why all this training that they're claiming to have and that he said kicked in, we saw none of that.
It shouldn't be anyone's son.
Thank you.
Well, you know, it always pissed me off because they put out that corner store video, the surveillance from the store, and acted like he robbed the store as if that warranted him being gunned down in the middle of the street.
Yes.
But in addition to all of that, you know, just besides that, I think what was important about watching this documentary is seeing all the great things that he was doing and seeing what he was doing in school and hearing from his family, because sometimes they try to make somebody just seem like a monster.
They did.
And the way the press did that and the media and the police officers, what they put out, made it seem like he was a scary kid, he was a bad kid, he was doing bad things, but then you get to see what he was really doing in real life, and that's important.
Yeah,
it was very important.
That's what I'm saying. How did that make y'all feel, like, when they was trying to paint him like that?
It upsetted me, but I knew the truth, and I still know the truth to this day. And that's where my book came into play, to share who my son was over those 18 years, and to give you all a different perspective from this 18-second clip that they showed, which had another video attached to it that no one had ever seen until Jason put the video out. I had a meeting with the governor, and he told me he tried to stop them from showing the video.
Why?
This is the governor. Why? These were his words to me. He said that if there was video when he was 18, he wouldn't be governor. Meaning to say that at 18 years of age, you're still a kid, your mind thinks in a different way, and that people do things and they make mistakes that later on in life you regret or you feel sorry about it. You say, when I was young and dumb, I did X, Y, Z. So that was his purpose for saying it, because him himself did not feel that what happened on Canfield should have happened.
What happened to all the witnesses? Because there was 3 witnesses that y'all talked about. Then there was the construction.
There were 5 witnesses in the film.
So what happened? Like,
yeah. So basically, Bob Mayo covered up all those witnesses, and the prosecutor of St. Louis County very carefully took all the witnesses that were in line with Michael, and he picked them apart and figured out a way to use the physical evidence at the scene to say, your version of events doesn't match up with the physical evidence, so we can't use it. 13 witnesses agreed with Dorian in the street. He threw them all out. Anyone that agreed with Darren's, he cherry-picked pieces of theirs, even though parts of theirs also were against the physical evidence.
3 people. 3 people, one being Darren himself.
Right.
One being a witness who completely lied.
It's just a
that was
cover-up.
never there.
It's just a huge, massive cover-up that they needed to perpetrate on America in 2014 because they need to keep Mike Brown's name down, because they don't want to say that everything that happened after Mike Brown is valuable. They want to say, oh, it started because of a thug. It started because of a robber, all this stuff. Look at them all in the street. They're so silly. No, Mike Brown was an angel. And he was a great guy. And he had just graduated high school. And all of that was a lie. And it's still a lie to this day. That's why it's so important that we uncover justice for Michael Brown. Because that was the first hashtag in 2014. Before Ferguson, before all the other hashtags. But we lost justice for Michael Brown. And the Ferguson report came out, and the Justice for Michael Brown report came out, and everyone talks about the Ferguson report. And no one talked about Mike anymore. And that's when we started making this movie, because I realized down there that there were all these films going on, but nobody was working on the Mike Brown case anymore.
Jason, what's your personal connection that made you feel like you had to get involved?
I had been working in schools that the education community calls dropout factories prior to Ferguson for 3 years. Dropout factories are a school with a 50 to 60% dropout rate. There are tons of these in America. Mm-hmm. And so I was working with all these kids in these credit catch-up rooms, which is in the film. And they were the best kids. If you're in a dropout factory and you drop out, but then you go back to try to graduate high school, you're a rock star. You have so much thick skin. Some complex stuff happened to you. So I found out Mike was in that room, and he had just graduated. And then I saw the picture that they were painting of him, and I just knew it was a lie, because I had been working with for years with all these students. Like, if you're in that room, there's no way you're robbing stores at night. There's no way you're doing any of that.
All right, I'm back. So you heard that from Leslie McSpadden, Mike Brown's mother. They were not working on the Mike Brown case. They were not trying to get justice. The person over the FBI at the time was Eric Holder, who was from Virginia. He stepped down, and Obama could do nothing because Eric Holder stepped down. So there was some corruption around the Michael Brown case. They covered up witnesses, as you heard. They gave a false police report, and they're doing it again in the Bill Cosby case. These people frame cases and they lie. And if you're not understanding that the justice system has flaws, well, you would need to see this Stranger Fruit documentary. It's on YouTube for $3.99. I'm going to rent it soon, and I'm going to go through it. And I got a clip of it. You know, I didn't get too much because I don't want copyright. And I'm just going to let you be the judge. And if you want to buy it, buy it. I said go buy it and look at it for what it is. Learn that your justice system is flawed. They're not enforcing the laws. They're not doing nothing. And people are getting hurt. So this is Leslie McSpadden and Jason Pollack discussing Stranger Fruit in the investigation of Mike Brown, where they didn't investigate. They weren't trying to find the truth. They didn't care. They made up a lie and made it look like that Michael Brown was some type of thug, and he really was not. Salome B. Like, share, subscribe. Have a great